you. Here we go, The Lady of Heaven trailer 2021.
The world is in shock as a group of terrorists has taken control of large areas of Syria and Iraq.
Syria and Iran?
The world can be a cruel and dangerous place. Remember, even if you're afraid, be strong. Your loving mother, Fatima.
Did your mother ever tell you the story of the Lady of Heaven?
It looks like a big
She was
production.
very special.
More like a...
Daughter to the Prophet Muhammad.
Oh, wow.
My time is near. And afterwards, my lovely Fatima, you will face many trials.
Okay, I have one question. I apologize for my ignorance. Obviously, I don't know much about Islam. I didn't know that in the story, if this is acknowledged, it's official, the Prophet Muhammad and the daughter, I think it's already getting interesting in that way, story-wise. At least I have this sense, because we were already talking about a woman, and...
With my father no longer here to lead us, evil is with those who will extinguish the light of truth.
Never extinguish the light of truth. Very well. Very well.
You're gonna let a woman tell us what to do? We will burn her out!
Oh. Huh? I'm not saying you should listen to every woman, but you should definitely listen to some women. Huh? How about that? Again, like I was saying, this is interesting. It seems like a story told from a point of view, of course, of a woman, which historically in the Islam world probably is not as obvious as you might think. And I think the newer generation, also the newer generation of faithful towards this religion, are sort of embracing a much broader perspective of the word. So whether this is a known story of Fatima, daughter of the Prophet Muhammad, which is not so advertised for obvious reason, like in Catholicism or other religion, the role of a woman have always been shunned away, repressed, put down a little bit. So it's nothing new in that way. It's sort of same dynamic. Let's not forget that also women in the West, apart from the Catholic West or Catholic Europe, women, their role in society wasn't always what it's today. I don't remember exactly which one was the year that in most countries Europe women were allowed to vote, but it's not that long ago. It's not that long ago.
God will judge all of you.
That women can vote.
This world has become a breeding ground of violence. Its shadow will be cast across many generations to come.
It said some people are so full of faith, they give strength to everyone around them.
The greatest thing in this life and the hereafter is the spreading of peace in the world.
Lady Fatima's goodness
Spreading the peace, not the religion.
inspired people to stand
Otherwise,
up, no matter what the
indoctrination.
cost. Her legacy lives on.
Great. Very interesting. Very interesting. Very interesting to get to know a little bit more about this story, which I didn't know, honestly. Obviously, when it comes to religion, I have also my thoughts regarding, in general, doesn't matter if it's Islam or Judaism or Catholicism or Buddhism. We live in a society where we have embraced those doctrines, whether they're true or not, that it's up to you, like God is silent, like like I always say. Well, I'm not the only one saying that, but it is what it is, and of course you want to be as tactful as possible with people's beliefs. Myself, I'm Italian, so I grew up in the South with a heavily Catholic surrounding, even though in the South, you know, in the 80s or 90s, society has opened up a lot, but still that you know, Catholicism is really a big part of who you are, your identity. So I can understand the similarities also in Islamic countries where that is pretty much big part of your existence, especially because a lot of countries which they profess Islam, they are theocracies, which you know, state and the spiritual leaders basically merge, the way it used to be long time ago in Europe. So it's always like kind of interesting to see each side telling their story. For me, when it comes, for me, like the lady here said in the video, I only care about the truth. I don't care about which faction wins or which faction manages to indoctrinate more. I'm just here for the truth and for peace. And the more we open up towards each sort of story, you know, I think the better will be in the future, because it is actually pretty sad to see that already within the same religion sometimes there are so many factions, there are so many extremities and extremism fighting against one another, trying to carry on their doctrine or their side of the doctrine and impose that on others. And that's why also in the Middle East you have so much tension. So in this way, I think this movie is very interesting. Like I said, telling the story, especially when it comes to a large religion like Islam, which I think is probably the second most professed religion in the world, and it's always been notoriously very patriarchal in nature. So the role of the woman, it's always been a little bit put on the side. I think it's extremely interesting to see that they do a religious movie and telling a story from a point of view of a woman, the daughter of the prophet. Very, very powerful, I think. So this is interesting, and I'm also wondering what you feel about it, how you see this, and yeah, leave a comment. When this movie comes out, I'll give it a look if it's on a streaming platform. I don't think it will be in theater anytime soon. So, guys, very nice. Thank you for sharing this with